My name is Anthony, and I'll be drawing for you. Hey Planet Earth, we meet again! Welcome to Anthony Draws For You, the channel where no idea is too crazy. So here's what's going on in my world right now. I've got a gigantic commission that I just got, and what this client has asked me to draw is various characters from 17 different cartoon shows. So that should keep me pretty busy for a while. And because they're so varied and because there's so many of them, I'm really looking forward to mixing up the content a little bit. I'll do some outdoor drawing. I haven't been outside in a while. Maybe draw some angry beavers down by the river. Maybe go to the dog park and draw Ren and Stimpy and Cat Dog. Let's see, where can I go in town to draw Pikachu? Oh, I know, I could go to the gym, but like I'll show up dressed as Ash Ketchum. Yeah, why not? I'll do it. Be on the lookout for that video. So I'm currently in the process of drawing my way through all of that list and of course editing the video footage as I'm doing it. So while I'm preparing that next batch of videos, today we'll be doing a little bit of Mario and Luigi. I got this request from a pair of brothers who are big Mario and Luigi fans. So I'm gonna be doing two illustrations, one in this video and one in the next video. I'm gonna be doing one that focuses on Mario and one that focuses on Luigi, but both of which have both characters in them. Just one is gonna be highlighted in each one of them. And so Planet Earth, without further ado, here's Luigi in a boxing ring going toe-to-toe with a big piranha plant.
And it's so crazy to think how far Mario has come over the years. Alright, so let's do a little bit of time traveling. It's 1981, Nintendo develops Donkey Kong, the arcade game. It's the debut of not only the title character Donkey Kong, who's the antagonist in the game, but the player character is a little Italian plumber with a red hat named Mario. And after this one, they had a couple years later the title arcade game Mario Brothers. And if I'm not mistaken, that was the first time that Mario and Luigi were presented as that iconic Player 1, Player 2 combo that they're most well known for today. And I think they were in a couple of other like little mini games here and there. And mind you, the more time that goes on, the more popular the characters are becoming. And in 1985, that's when Planet Earth saw Super Mario Bros. For the first time in their own self-titled franchise that they were launching on the original NES Nintendo system. And this message is for any kids watching. You guys really don't know how good you have it. I hate to sound like an old man, but there was a time when you had to leave the house if you wanted to play a video game. Video games were exclusively in arcades. The idea of home video games was still being developed. If you didn't have a friend who could drive, your only other option was to have a parent who would be willing to bring you to the mall where they knew however much time you were going to be spending there, you'd be spending money, eating junk food, and playing video games. Yeah, definitely not like today, where it's at your fingertips in every room of the house. Our games had two buttons. No submenus, no left and right bumper and triggers that opened up like a whole different list of options. None of that, just A and B, jump, and if you were lucky, punch. Definitely not the case in Mario, where it just makes you run faster, but that doesn't help. Because even though you need to speed through the level or else you'll get this sound, which is enough suspense to cause a panic attack for any member of my generation. The B button. You needed that B button. You needed to gain momentum in order to jump certain gaps, but you also had to know when to lose momentum in order to stick the landing on really narrow spaces. Mario was actually a pretty hard game. All the games were back then, I think. Well, not that they were harder and not that the new ones are easier, it's just that the margin for error was just way more narrow, and the stakes were higher. Because if you lost, there was no save game. They had passwords and stuff, but that came a little later, I guess. And even then, it didn't bring you up to the place that you left off. It left you off at that checkpoint. So if you made progress 2 or 3 levels after the checkpoint where they gave you the password, then you're out of luck and you gotta beat those 2 levels all over again. It's just so crazy to think how far technology has come in such a short amount of time, and I know that's cliche to say, but my grandparents' generation can remember a time when they didn't have refrigerators. Now, granted, they were very, very little at this time, but they were also at a point where they were developed enough where they actually have memories of it. Much the same way, I was very little when video games were starting to come into the home. It was still a relatively new concept that had only been around for a few years. Man, I can't imagine what things are going to be like 50 or 60 years from now. I mean, really, it's just crazy to think what things might be like when we are ancient Rome and ancient Greece and, ancient Egypt. I just hope that planet Earth has established an escape plan by then. From the robots and the zombies. Oh, hey, check this out. I'm just going through the Wikipedia page right now. Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. Okay, this is a little cool piece of history. The Lost Levels is the initial sequel to the original Super Mario Bros. Game and was released as Super Mario Bros. 2 in Japan. Uses the same original Super Mario Bros. Engine, changing environments, ramping up the difficulty. Okay, I guess so they treated this as it was Super Mario Bros. 2.0, or 1.5, I guess it seems like. Long story short, basically the reason why they only released this in Japan, the sequel was not released out. Okay, here it is. The sequel was not released outside Japan in this time period because Nintendo of America did not want the Mario series to be known to players outside of Japan for frustrating difficulty, inaccessible to a steadily broadening market of American video game players, or stylistically outdated by the time the Japanese Super Mario Bros. 2 could be eventually delivered to America. The game later debuted outside Japan in 1993 as Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels in the compilation cartridge titled Super Mario All-Stars for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Oh, that makes sense. Super Mario Bros. 2 was called Super Mario USA in Japan, because Super Mario Bros. 2 in Japan was the game that would be turned into the Lost Levels that was then shipped over to America. It's confusing, but it's really not. It was just the two markets sort of catching up with each other, because once each of them had established both of their sequels, they were on the same page, and Super Mario Bros. 3 was the same for both. And I think that's the time period, that couple of years right there, where America witnessed video games becoming mainstream.
Tell me what you're working on right now in the comments section below. Share this video with your friends. Don't forget to pound that like button. Be sure to subscribe to keep the party going. Thank you much, and I'll see you next time.